Hi. Kyle from allmeterviews.blogspot.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about the new record from the band Small League Sink Ships called Face Yourself and Remove Your Sandals. And I finally received my hard copy, my compact disc copy in the mail just a day or two ago. What do I say here? Here's the actual compact disc, which I find interesting. Doesn't actually have the title of the record, Face Yourself and Remove Your Sandals. It just says their name in both caps and lowercase, it looks like. But Small Ships, I don't know if that was intentional. And I actually could mention that this is a band that I just recently sort of discovered, slightly rediscovered, but I picked up their original record and their other records actually digitally. I don't know if they did something similar. No, this is their first record. It's called Until the World is Happy, Wake Up, You Sleepyheads. Yeah, Sleepyhead Sun rather, but not the case on that CD. Now I think this is from 2007, but this record has really won me over, and they're a band, like a 3 or 4 piece band. Judd Hancock is one of the members, I know. I think he does a lot of the social media stuff. Ryan Garner, Jim Mandel, London Van Rooy, R-O-O-Y, and Rafael Macias. I know 2 of them do different lead, like 2 of them sing lead vocals on this record, because their voices are somewhat distinct. But who plays exactly what, it doesn't necessarily say. And I mean, I could read off the stuff online, but I'm not going to do that. But this is their first record first full-length record since their debut record in 2007, I think, because the other stuff they have on Bandcamp is like EPs and stuff like that, which is really good too. But I guess in short, I can just say this record has totally won me over. I've been kind of waiting to share something about it on YouTube and add more details in the blog about it, but I haven't been able to do that. But oh man, this is just an epic record. It's won me over, and I love it when that happens, when it sort of comes out of nowhere. But Small League Sink Ships, they were from some part of Arizona, but I think they relocated to Portland, Oregon, within the last, I don't know how many years, but relatively recently, maybe the last 4 or 5 years. Happens. I posted something on Twitter the other day and Rate Your Music about Portland bands that there's like 15 or 20 of them that I just am really a fan of, and maybe having them there just adds to that. But I don't have the time to go extensively in details about each song, even though I wrote notes down about each song. But I'd say my favorite parts of this record continue to be, there's two specifics, tracks. The second song, Midnight Gin, the build on that song, I just get goosebumps, and some of the lyrics, the way they use the little like clicks and sounds from, I guess it's in a hospital, and the lyrics even point to that. The hospital is slowing down. The machines are making their sound, but it just repeats that sort of drum march, but it just builds and builds. It's a kind of a classic build, and the spirit. There's one lyric that says the spirits are wearing their gowns, and it's sort of haunting, but also majestic, and it sort of creates this great sort of reveal, or I don't know. But the other track that among, for the prog rock fans, I would say really does stand out is the song Building Blocks, which is like a 9-minute multi-part song, although it seems like a lot of songs on Face Yourself and Remove Your Sandals have multi-parts or segues, but the way it sort of, with the piano and the way it kind of gradually adds layers and rhythms, and then, building, hence the name, it's sort of building blocks of a bunch of different textures and layers. I don't believe there's any vocals on it whatsoever, but it's just gorgeous, and it's just, I look forward to that song, the different parts of it, every single time I listen to this record. And I'd say that another thing about this album, which is a common case for myself, is that because I already like a few songs, I tend to like focus and look forward to certain songs. The other songs sort of complement them and tell a story, and they start to grow on me, and that's what happened with this record. It started to grow more and more on me. I guess, to be more specific, these guys, their sound is sort of a mixture of post-rock, math rock, progressive rock, and they have like a poppy and almost like a post-hardcore element. More so on this record and some of the earlier records. They did some screaming, and but as a whole, I think this is polished, and it's the culmination or accumulation. Those words are pretty much synonymous of, I don't know, 4 or 5 years worth of songwriting and playing live and everything. But the other thing I would say that is reflected in this, the emotion that's in some of the lyrics, and some of them are ballads like "We All Die," is two of the members, I guess, according to this story I'm online, have recovered from different medical issues. One of them, Judd Hancock, I think, was the one who actually was battling cancer. I'm not sure if he still is or if he beat it, but you can you get that sense that it was definitely a sort of a life reflective, almost soul searching experience going through that, and then creating the music on here and making this album. And then Ryan Garner, I guess, also, according to this story on this moderntimesmagazine.com, ended up in a car accident or something, and he ended up maybe hospitalized. So, but hopefully both of those guys are sort of doing better now. And this album, they sometimes say, when you're happy, great art doesn't really come all that great. But when you're struggling through something, or you have something tragic happen, great art can come out of that. Whether that should be the case or not, it just so happens. And but I mean, Power Outage, the opening track, Yellow Bird, that's just sort of their token single they released on Bandcamp late in 2014, I believe. Orchis, Snowball Fight, Attack, Formations, We All Die, like I mentioned before. There's a lot of emotional lyrics on that. I get the whole sense that it's not about so much wanting to die, but wanting the condition of their body to die, because if you're in a bad state mentally or physically, and probably in that case, what are you thinking about? Well, the point you're not actually dealing with it. Devil is in the Desert, Iceberg, another great one. In the closing, The Mind is Its Own Place. Beautiful piece with piano. Almost reminds me of at the end of the Fates Warning's Disconnected, that Haunting. It ends with some like vocal harmonies. I mean, one band they kind of reminded me of is Phenomena. I think I mentioned in a previous video, where they seem to have a couple of different members that sort of have their own thing, but they complement each other really well. But oh man, this record is, I mean, it's post rock and math rock of a kind. You do a lot of sampling of textures and rhythms, a lot of xylophone, and a lot of really wonderful piano arrangements. But then not that they use only piano; they do have their guitars and other parts, and lyrically it stands out. It's not overdone. It's not pretentious per se, and there's nothing excessive on here really, or even the parts that are repetitive seem to work in sort of a mood element. I just think they put a lot of thought into this. It reminds me of a lot of other albums I've gotten into and been won over and just recognize and appreciate because of how much thought and time and effort that the band or the artist put into them. Some like Pepe Deluxe's Queen of the Wave, or there's a lot of other examples among my favorite records that why they turned out so good. A lot of that, maybe not entirely, but a lot of that though has to do with just the amount of time and rewriting and thinking, and if you spend a lot of time at something, you can perfect it as much as you can become obsessed with that. But sometimes when you do perfect something over many years, and you go through what some of the members have gone through, it comes out all the better. And I think that's what happened with Face Yourself and Remove Your Sandals. So I don't know who else is going to get into this band or this album, although there's definitely a following for this band online. They're not like a completely new band, but especially for progressive rock fans who've never heard of them, certainly worth checking out if you like atmospheric, sort of moody but textured, like post-rock with vocals. And I mean, it's a technical, not exactly. I mean, there's certainly some busy moments here and there where they use a lot of layers, and some of the recording must have required a lot of tracks. But it's prog rock in the sense that it's definitely artistic and not necessarily compromising anything they were doing. That's certainly the case. And it doesn't sound exactly like anyone out there. They have their own sound. I mean, they remind me of some bands like The Antlers or Phenomena, or some other post-rock bands like Murder by Death, or something. That song, The Devil is in the Desert, has a very Western almost sound to it to me. Even like Apes and Androids, some of the vocal styles at points of one of the singers, I'm not sure which one it was, whether it be Judd Hancock or one of the other ones, sounds a little bit like Brian from Apes and Androids at points. So, well, I'm going to stop talking about this for now, but it's on here. But I need to write something actually more in detail in the blog. I have my notes, of course, here, but I just want to say how much I appreciate this record. And, this season we're almost at mid-season already, but I don't know if I'm going to see too many other just absolute masterpiece classic records that will come out. But even if not, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out, but if not, this guy is certainly on top of the mountain for me, and I really am glad that I can help them out in any way I can if more people find this or anyone finds this. Thank you. More reviews coming soon.